back to the YouTube channel Pro Enzo Vids, and this is my round 15 NRL tips for 2023. And look, obviously, hopefully another big round ahead. I'm looking forward to seeing how every game does pan out for the weekend. Last week had a pretty rough week with tipping. Only got 4 out of 8 somehow, so very disappointing week for myself. So I guess the aim is, like every other week, is to get 8 out of 8 this week. So hopefully this is the week I do get a full round, because I haven't done that yet this year. So that's the goal for this round, I reckon. Round 15, make it happen. But look, it should be a good round. I'm looking forward to the games. I mean, Thursday night's a bit unusual, having a Titans and Tigers game on the Thursday. Friday, Raiders, Warriors, and Manly Dolphins. That's a good Friday fixture there. And then other games like on Saturday, I suppose games like Roosters and Panthers at Allianz will be big, and Sunday, Storm, Sharks, and the Queen's birthday on Monday, Eels and the Bulldogs. Before I do start, if you are new watching the channel right now, please be sure to like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and comment your tips in the comment section down below. My goal is to get to 3,500 subscribers by hopefully late June to maybe early July. That's the goal on the channel, to get to 3,500 subscribers by then. So yeah, please do subscribe if you are enjoying the content I'm putting out there for you guys. But until then, this is my round 15 tips, so please enjoy. So on to the first game of the Thursday. It is the Titans and the West Tigers playing at Seavale Super Stadium on the Gold Coast. Yeah, look, I'm not very keen to see this game as the main game on the Thursday, but I guess time will tell to see how both sides do go. But yeah, both sides are inconsistent as anything. I mean, Tigers were unlucky last week. As for the Titans, yet again showing why they only play for one half of footy. So, you know, might as well call it quits at 40 minutes anyway for the Titans. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see how both Titans and Tigers go. But as for how the teams stand, David Fifita's been rested for this game after presenting possible delayed concussion symptoms following the Rabbitohs game. So that means starting in the back row, I believe, that is Joe Stevenson and Clessie Haas start together in the back row. AJ Brimson returns ahead of schedule from a hamstring injury at fullback, and Keanu Kinney in the centres. Brian Kelly comes in at centre. Philip Sammy goes to wing, and Jojo Fifita 18th man, with Chris Randall banned for 1 game for dangerous contact. Sam Verrills takes over the hooker role, and Cruz Levy joins the bench. And also Jamin Jolliffe comes back for the Titans to off the bench. And for the Tigers, no changes for the Tigers, apart from there's a rumour that young rookie or superstar hooker, as they tout him to be, Taylor Da Silva might play. So that'd be pretty cool if he does play. But as for my tip for this game, I will back the Titans here. You know, as risky as they only play for one half of footy, but back in the Gold Coast at home, I just think Titans might snag a win here. Not convincingly, but it's a win that I think they'll get. So Titans by, let's go, 6 points. And first try scorer, been scoring tries all year, and why not back him again? Olafani Pereira. On to the first game of the Friday now. It is the Raiders taking on the Warriors at GIO Stadium in Canberra as the 6 p.m. Fixture. And based on recent form for both these clubs, Canberra, you know, ever since that Manly game, they seem to have bounced back and sort of found their way of playing good footy. So, yeah, they'll obviously be back for, well, Jared Croker is back, I should say, for his 300th game in Canberra. So they rested him last week, and he's back this week for his 300th game. So, yeah, I'm sure they want to live for him. And as for the Warriors, been very impressive recently. Been really impressed with the Warriors. A win against the Dolphins in New Zealand was a win that I think brings a lot of confidence. And the way Sean Johnson's been playing recently, it's oh yeah, it's like he's turning back the clock 10 years ago. So it's great to see. But as for how these sides do line up, a new look backline for the Raiders sees Jared Croker return at the centres for his 300th game. So Albert Hopewadi goes back to the wing, and Nick Hotrick goes to the bench. Sebastian Chris is also back at fullback from a knee injury. Harley Smith-Shields has to make way then. Elliot Whitehead is back from a 2-game suspension in the second row. So Corey Horsburgh goes to lock, Joe Tarpany to prop, and Sammy Sula to the bench. And as for the Warriors, on debut, Ali Liatawa, my about the mispronunciation there, but he's making his debut in the centres. Rockerberry head knock is out, so that's why he's playing. And this rookie on debut for the Warriors has scored 9 tries out of 13 games in the New South Wales Cup this year, so that's pretty good. And Freddie Larsick has been listed among the reserves as he looks to return from a head knock that he suffered in round 13. Right, my tip for this game, you can go to the wire. It'll be a very close game, I think. Honestly, it'll be a very close game. Nickel Cloxton versus his old club too. But I think I will back the Raiders here in home. I think the Raiders will win in Canberra for Croker 300th. Like, if they don't get up for Croker 300th, then how disappointing is that? So I expect them to win this one. So I'm going to go Canberra here by 10. And I'll back Matt Tomoko for first try. On to the main game of the Friday now. It is my boys, the Sea Eagles, taking on the Dolphins at 4 Pines Park at Brookie. So, obviously, yet again, I'll be back at 4 Pines to watch this game live. Yeah, obviously going to go to the rest of the home games for this year, as I tried to go to every home game, or at least every Manly game I can go to. So, yeah, be good to be back on Friday. But, yeah, Manly Dolphins, a very interesting game coming up. Obviously, for us, our form has been a bit up and down, I'd say. But I think last week or the week before, missing a few of our Origin players, I think, and key players, I think that's hurt us a little bit. But we do get DC and Tom back this week, which should give us a bit more direction and help for the rest of the squad. And as for the Dolphins, yeah, they've been really good, the Dolphins. They've been very good in terms of the way they've been playing as of recent. But until last week, that was the low light of their, I guess, game for this year. But we'll see how they go in Sydney if it's only second time this year. The teams for both sides. So for Manly, Tom Trbojevic has been named despite suffering a head knock in round 1. But we appealed it, and he wasn't suffering any symptoms after, wasn't knocked out in the play. So therefore he can play. And obviously there was not enough evidence to overturn his concussion, as what the bunker or the Blues or whoever said that he had the concussion made that call. So right call in the end, and I'm happy he's playing. And Ruben Garrick is shifting to the centres for this week too, because Brad Parker's out with a I think a fractured elbow. So yeah, that's 6 weeks max. So hopefully Parker's all right. But I'm very excited to see Garrick back in the centres. And Christian Tuipulotu makes his return on the wing as well, with Daly Cherry Evans back as well at halfback, and Josh Aloiai makes his return via the bench from a shoulder injury. And as for the Dolphins, Jarrett Wallace, Anthony Milford have accepted 3-match bans, so they're out. Tom Gilbert's also out with a shoulder injury. Wayne Bennett has been forced into a major shake-up with Jeremy Marshall-King is back on deck after being a late scratching from round 14 last week. And Palasa Farmastilli joins the bench in his 4th game of the year, with Herman Esiesa and Kern Donahue also joining the bench. I just want to say quickly, with Tuipulotu back, I'd love to see Manly put Kohler and Tuipulotu together. Like, that's a combination that has proven it's good. And it's young, obviously, because, you know, both of them are still fairly young players. But I just hope Seabold can put Kohler and Tuipulotu back together. That combination has shown that it has potential. So, and they're cousins, and they obviously combine really well. So I hope that's the case with them two back together just quickly. But, look, my tip for this game is pretty obvious because I'm backing the boys at home. But it's a danger game because the Dolphins have shown that they're not pushovers this year. They are legit and they're going to give it a go. So we should be up for this one, hopefully, at home though. So I'll tip Manly by 8 points. Hopefully we win. And I'll back for first try scorer. I am going to back Jason Saar for first try. I reckon he'll score first. On to the first game of Saturday now. Out of 3 games, it is the Dragons and the Rabbitohs taking on each other at Netstrata Jubilee Stadium at 3 p.m. So, another game where I guess it's interesting because I think obviously the Rabbitohs have been the better side and Dragons have been disappointing, but I don't think Dragons have been as worse as what people have made them to be. I think the effort's there, but they're not winning games. And as for South, I think, yeah, well, they've had a rocky sort of patch of runs of games as well. I mean, obviously winning against the Titans was a good win, but I guess before that, they had two straight losses. So, yeah, I guess that win last week gave them confidence. And they're missing some players, but, you know, they've still got a fairly good team there. But looking at how both sides do line up, Jack de Belin will miss this match after suffering a head knock. So, yeah, he'll be out. His place is taken by Ben Merck-Masila, who starts, and the new face on the bench is Zane Musgrove, while Jack Bird rested and Blake Laurie Hand are listed among the reserves as they look to make their returns. And as for the Rabbitohs, Jai Arrow ankle, Cameron Murray groin are both out. So Saliva Havili makes his return from an ankle injury on the bench, and Shaq Mitchell starts a lock for this game, and Joe Cartwright joins the bench, and Latrell Mitchell still remains sidelined with a calf injury. So this is actually tougher than I think. I think this is going to go down to the wire. I really think it will. You know what? I am tipping an upset. I think the Dragons are going to win at home. I think the Dragons are going to win at Cogra. I know that's, it's bold to pick that because I think Souths, I know missing Murray and Arrow hurts them, but they've still got Walker and Cook and all these other great players in the team. But the way Dragons have been playing recently, it's not bad. It's not bad. Like, people I think are taking a bit out of context here about the way the Dragons are playing. Like, I get they're last, but they were very close to beating Penrith. I know there was no Cleary, but the effort was there. So they're losing games, but the effort's actually there, and they're not getting smashed. So I think this is the week where they take advantage of an injury-plagued Souths team. So I will go Dragons here by 4, and I'm liking Moses Sully for first try. On to the next game now. It is the Broncos taking on the Knights at Suncorp Stadium at 5:30 p.m. Both sides have come off 2 points, except Broncos had a win. Knights had the bye last week. And look, the Broncos have been great. They've been really, really good this year. They are building towards something, I reckon. Whatever Kevy's done to make this Broncos team lift in 2023, it's working so far. And I can only see it getting better and better over time. And as for Newcastle, before the bye they had last week, they beat Manly, who didn't have their origin stars, but Ponga had a great game, and they seem to be, I guess, building some confidence, but they're hard to get a read on Newcastle. They really are. But going through both sides, for the Broncos, Selwyn Cobbo is back on deck this week after missing the Sharks game with a hip injury, so that means Jesse Arthurs will go to 18th man, which is disappointing because I think Arthurs is a first grader, not a reserve grader, but he'll get his opportunity once again. And as for Knights, Tyson Frizzell is back from Origin, so Jack Johns makes way. Lachlan Fitzgibbon suffered a calf injury against Manly, so he's been able to play despite that. Kurt Mann joins the bench for the first time in a while, and Lachlan Miller is out, and that's the team there. As for who I'm tipping, I will be tipping the Broncos here, 13+. I think Broncos are just too good to knock back at the moment or tip against. So Broncos by 18, and I reckon first try scorer Walsh and Jordan Ricky double in the back row. And on to the final game of Super Saturday. It is the Roosters taking the Panthers at Allianz Stadium at 7:35 p.m. And, well, for both sides, both teams have come off wins. And in very narrow wins, I'd say, because the Roosters only just escaped the Bulldogs game at Gosford on Sunday. And as for Penrith, they were, I guess, lucky to win that Dragons game, but having no Cleary obviously hurt them mid-game, so, but they were good enough to win, so this does shape up to be a very interesting game. As for how both sides line up, for the Roosters, Joseph Suaalii is free game ban for dangerous contact sees. Corey Allen shift to the centres with Daniel Tupou returning from a hamstring injury on the wing. And that's about it. And for the Panthers, Jack Hogger takes the halfback spot with Nathan Cleary out with a hamstring injury for a few weeks. And James Savin joins the bench. My tip for this game, look, it's a big loss losing, I guess, Cleary for the Panthers, but I will tip the Panthers still. I trust them enough to still win this game. The Roosters have been a bit better, but they're not convincing enough for me. I'll tip the Panthers here to win by about, let's go, 6 points. And I'll go with Roosters to score first, though. And I'll go Daniel Tupou to score in his return. On to the one and only game on Sunday. It is the Storm take on the Sharks at Amy Park in Melbourne, 4 or 5 p.m. The main game only, because there's only one game. And Monday is Bulldogs and Eels, which I'll get into a second. But Storm and Sharks, eh? There's always big games between the two clubs because there seems to be some history there. And yeah, they normally do have good games, so I do hope that's the same result come Sunday. But yeah, Storm were disappointing against Cowboys, absolutely shocking. And as for Cronulla, they weren't much better, but they didn't get smashed by the Broncos. But they could have won that game at home, I reckon. But we'll see. We'll see who wins. But for the Storm, Justin Olam has failed his HIA on Sunday and will miss the batch. His place is taken by Grant Anderson. The new man on the bench is Tarek Sims. And for the Sharks, Cameron McInnes has been named to return from a hand injury. So Tom Hazelton goes back to the bench, the reserves, and that's the only change there. And my tip, I will tip, this is tough, I will tip the Storm back at home. I think the Storm will be refreshed and ready to go at home. I think Bellamy will get them up for this game, being back at Amy Park, and yeah, it can go either way, but I think the Storm will be ready to go at home, and yeah, you don't often see Storm fail 2 weeks in a row, so I'll go Storm here by, let's go 2 points, tight game, 14-12, be a very tight, gritty game, and I will go Xavier Coates for first try. And on to the final game of round 15, it is the Queen's birthday fixture. So this is not Bulldogs and Dragons anymore, it's now Bulldogs and Parramatta, which, don't know why it's happened, but it is what it is, I suppose. But yeah, that's how both teams have gone in terms of form. The Bulldogs were very, I guess, unlucky not to win that game against the Roosters. They had their chances there. When they led 12-0, I thought they were going to run away with it, but yeah, they're not fit enough, I don't think. And as for the Eels, yeah, they are sort of finding form again after having to bye last week. They beat the Cowboys the week before, and they're playing better, so Parramatta are starting to find some form, I think. But as for the teams, Reed Marnie has been named to play despite suffering a Category 2 head injury assessment. So he will play for now, but yeah, we'll see what happens, I guess. But he's been named. Jacob Carraz's elbow is back on deck. So Blake Wilson goes to the reserves, and Harrison Edwards moves into the starting side at lock, and Chris Patolo joins the bench with Ryan Sutton out. And for the Eels, Regan Campbell-Gillard is back, which is big for them. Andrew Davies is also back after missing round 13 with a concussion. So that means, is Davey playing? He's playing against the Bulldogs, and that's going to be funny because he joined the club this year, but moved around the start of the year. And Matt Dury moves to the bench, and Luca Moretti drops out, and Dylan Brown has been named to play so far. So Dylan Brown is playing despite that controversy and that sort of situation, you know, that happened. But who am I tipping? I want to say Bulldogs. I want to say Bulldogs because they do often turn up for the Queen's birthday matches, and I think they are playing, you know, they do play well on the Queen's birthday, but I don't know. I think Para are a safe tip for me. I think the way Eels are playing, it's the form that we know they can play in, and I think they're a lot better, but I wouldn't be shocked if they lost. Let's be honest. I wouldn't be shocked if they lost, but yeah, I think they'll win. So Parramatta by, let's go 10, and first try scorer. I'm going to go Jacob Preston for first try scorer. I've got a feeling he might jag one in the back row there, but that's my tips around 15 on the NRL. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and comment your tips in the comment section down below. Enjoy round 15, and good luck to everyone's club.